Hello, and welcome to the Autism Resource Central's ASD Advantage podcast. In this podcast, we'll be shining light on what it's like to have autism. You'll hear individuals on the spectrum interview other individuals on the spectrum, and you'll understand their life experiences, accomplishments, challenges, and more. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Susan Purcell, and I'm excited to be joined today by Erin McWalters. Erin is an artist, an author, and has her own business called StarSketchh. She sells her self-care workbooks series and trippy coloring book series on Amazon and has her own YouTube video. When she is encouraged others to be creative and practice self-care. Welcome, Erin.
Hi, nice to meet everybody on the podcast listening.
I'm so excited to hear about everything that you're doing to help yourself and to help others. I know that there's so much that you do. Why don't you start to explain what your main focus of the ideas and the creativity that you have that brings you to today?
So basically, my small business never really started until about a couple years ago, but my love for art and self-care and taking care of yourself started when I was young. I always used to be coloring in front of the TV or sketching on a piece of paper, and art was just always kind of there, but I never knew how big it would actually become when I actually put myself out there, not only on YouTube, but on Amazon, and just overall really trying to get out to the community that art is just a way for all of us to kind of express ourselves, either by sketching with a pencil or by painting. And my biggest inspiration when it comes to, painting and writing and all things creative, honestly, is really just the impact that I get from other people posting online of them seeing my artwork and holding it, or them recreating their own piece that's inspired by something that I've created. And I never really thought art would be part of my career journey until after high school. I originally went for medical services. I wanted to be a neonatal nurse taking care of babies when they're born. And all of a sudden, now I'm going into the creative route of being an artist, an author, small business owner, YouTuber in a sense, and just kind of overall just trying to show the community that you don't have to be perfect to be an artist. You just have to create. And that is just my main motto, is to stay creative.
Absolutely. So, when you were first diagnosed, when did you realize that you were diagnosed on the spectrum?
So I was first diagnosed not until I was a junior in high school. So up until then, I really didn't know what was going on or why I was so different from others and why I like certain things that others didn't. And I would hyper focus on certain things. But junior year of high school, I decided, you know what, I'm going to get tested. I have family members that are also on the spectrum. And so it's probably linked to that. So I just decided to get tested just for my own closure, not necessarily to put a label on myself, but just for myself to just kind of realize, okay, it's not that I'm not normal, I'm just me. And even being on the spectrum and doing artwork has never stopped me to stop creating. It just kind of honestly embraced it a bit because kind of with ASD you kind of have those hyper focuses, and art has been mine since I was a kid. So and I am very grateful for that.
Excellent. And I had mentioned in the beginning that we had talked about some self-care books, workbooks, as well as some trippy coloring books. Can you
Mhm.
explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the workbooks, I started writing them. Actually, it was kind of just a pastime during COVID, just kind of writing out things and kind of creating this workbook. And I just decided to create one called Spring into Action was my first one, just because I wanted people to feel motivated and positive even during a really stressful, lonely time. And so I was just like, I'm just going to create this and see what happens. And it ended up inspiring me to create a whole series that's based on the four seasons. Like I said, Spring Into Action was the first one that's more motivational, kind of gets you pumped up, goal setting, stuff like that. And then going into the next one, which was Falling for Yourself, which is obviously you don't have to do these in the seasons that they say, but the
Yeah.
fall one is for self love, learning how to love yourself unconditionally. And then winter one was winter wellness. So that one's especially more for my own personal experience having SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, which basically during transitions of seasons, so mainly from fall to winter, I just experienced kind of a little bit of sadness and unmotivated. And so this whole workbook is kind of based on that, but also for people that kind of go through even the winter blues. And then the last one that I created was Self Care Summer, which is mainly just all things self care, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, just everything kind of in those kind of categories. And each of my workbooks have subcategories as well that people can go through and doodle on pages because I'm a huge doodler, so I really wanted to include that in my workbooks as well. And just overall, those four were just kind of the series that I wanted to kind of just motivate people to get up and not feel, that they're stuck. And then the trippy coloring is just more of an artistic thing that I started. I have always loved coloring. Like I mentioned before, ever since I was a kid, I would have a coloring book in front of the TV with my pack of crayons. And I still color to this day as an adult, both kids' coloring pages and what they call the adult coloring pages, or just really, I just like to color anything. And I really wanted to create my own and was really inspired by that. So I decided to create two trippy coloring books, which like I mentioned before, they're both on Amazon along with the workbooks.
So let me just clarify, because this is so intriguing to me. I'm not an artist at all. So
Mhm.
I think of coloring and I think of doing that kind of creativity as not something that I'm used to. But what it sounds like is that your workbooks are for anyone to be able to pick up and just go at their own pace.
Yes, exactly.
A
You can
and
either
just
get it done
draw
or,
and whatever you feel like that day, and
yeah,
as you put it as doodling, you can draw X's or circles or whatever you're feeling at that moment. Wow,
exactly.
that's incredible. And you said that helps you personally as well. So you're using your own tools to help you as well as helping others.
Yes, I've been through numerous amount of therapy groups, mental health groups, ASD groups with social skills, and all the groups I've just kind of gathered a big toolbox in my head that I was like, you know what, I'm going to share my, little toolbox of things going on in my brain that help me on a daily basis and put them into these four workbooks.
Excellent. And I had mentioned earlier too that you have a YouTube channel. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel actually started back in high school. I just kind of started doing it. It was just called Erin's Makeup 101 at the time because when I was younger, the big trend was making makeup tutorials. And so
Oh,
that's how I started on YouTube. And I did on the side do some skits with my brother because that was a big thing back in the day as well when YouTube started. But then I slowly have now, present day, it's just based on StarSketchh, my business, and I vlog about my life. I even do painting time lapses, coloring time lapses. I do like paint with me video tutorials. Sometimes I do like various different creative activities and I just record myself doing them and kind of share it with the world. And I guess a lot of people like it because now I'm almost at 1K subscribers, which is a big
wow.
milestone in the YouTube world. So I'm really happy of the growth with it. It has taken a while to get to this point. High school for me was almost 10 years ago. So it's just been a work in progress, more of just a side little hobby that I did. And it just really coincided with also marketing my workbooks, coloring books, and artwork.
Excellent. It's so amazing. It just it really can just touch so many people because mental health and taking care of ourselves is a very hard thing for anybody to do. Never mind if you have other struggles or diagnoses that goes along with that. So,
Mhm.
the traditional therapies might work for some people, and then coloring can be a different avenue for others to be able to, release those emotions that come along with having autism spectrum disorder. And, I think it's a great way to reach out to all levels of people that
Mhm.
can benefit from hearing or, watching your videos. I know that there's a big thing that I'm excited to hear about is I know you have a small business, and I wanted to know if you could start us with how that began for you and what the small business is about.
So StarSketch started about a couple of years ago, and I literally just kind of started creating artwork on my new iPad at the time using Procreate app, and you could just kind of create whatever on there. It's like a digital app for coloring or even just drawing and doodling. So I just decided one day I'm going to, draw out some things and print out some stickers on my Cricut is how it kind of started off. And I just decided one day to post videos on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all the different social medias, just putting myself out there. And it was just like wildfire with those social media platforms. Like, just everybody seemed to be really liking my artwork, really liking the progress of it. I went from selling like animal stickers to now I just sell like Disney adult stickers. Like, my art has kind of progressed over the years with that. And I started selling on Etsy for a while back in the day. And then I went on my own website as well. And now I'm back on Etsy again and on this platform called Depop, where you can actually, it's almost like bidding almost like on an auction or something. And you can do it that way. But I just kind of grown and evolved with my business to the point that I just kind of do what makes me happy when it comes to it and try to spread the message of staying creative just because my artwork is a little bit different than what other people might see online or on a regular basis with artwork doesn't mean it's not good or anything. I get compliments all the time. I've been doing vendor fairs now ever since COVID ended, and I recently did one, and someone even said that I should teach a painting class. Like, I never thought that I would get to this point of my small business, and it took a lot. Even being on the spectrum, trying to run a small business was really difficult because I had no idea what I was doing when I started, but I just kind of learned and did a lot of tutorials on YouTube. YouTube is great for that. And just kind of learned as I went. And that was kind of the best way that I did it. And now I'm at this point where now there's people that are like, know my name by my small business name or even just my name in general and just love my artwork. And it's really evolved just because of social media, to be honest. I don't think that I would be able to get as far as I have with the help of social media, but even vendor fairs, getting myself out there has been really nice, just that person to person interaction. And I just love doing it. And it makes me so happy, even seeing a little kid coming up to my booth and being like, oh, Frozen, because I sold Frozen bookmarks recently, or like the bracelets that I sell. And it just has really evolved into its own. And it just makes me really happy to see other people happy about it.
Now, I know that can't be easy starting a business. And you had mentioned being on the spectrum, it can be more difficult to start a business. What would you say to other people who might be considering opening a business, but maybe not be able to do all of the social media and all of that stuff? How would you give them advice on starting a new business?
Do what makes you happy and do what works for you because I thought that I could catch up with posting TikToks and Instagram and Facebook, and now I'm just literally on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and my YouTube obviously as well. but just kind of do what makes you happy. If being on a certain platform doesn't make you happy and you're sharing your stuff on it, don't feel like you have to do that. My biggest thing is that you should be able to be comfortable showing your art. If you're not comfortable showing your art or whatever business avenue that you're going down, do it in your own time. But also, don't be afraid to just look up on a YouTube tutorial how to just open an Etsy shop or how to open a Depop shop, like I mentioned before, or how to just even sell on Facebook Marketplace, like whatever makes it comfortable for you. Or if you don't like the social media aspect, there's so many vendor and craft fairs that are just great to just set up your own, little space and to sell what you sell. And don't be afraid what other people say, because I have had so many instances of people coming up and being like, this is terrible artwork, or this is, why are you selling this? Like really just demotivating stuff. And you shouldn't let that stop you. Just because one person says something hateful, whether it's on a YouTube comment or at a vendor event, it should not stop you from creating. Everyone has their own style, and just because one person does one style of artwork or one style of business doesn't mean that that's going to work for you. So just do it. I promise you that there's going to be a community for you out there that likes whatever you like, because at one point I didn't think anybody would like my type of artwork or would even want to buy it or even want to even look at my craft table, but people do. And I was shocked by that, but also like motivated from that. So just if you really want to out there start a creative business of any sort, whether it's selling paintings or jewelry or resin art even or anything, just do it, because at the end of the day, it's going to make you happy.
You're right. And as we said earlier, too, you have your books and the coloring books, too, right, on Amazon?
Mhm.
So if somebody, is not into the social media aspect of it, they could use resources like the Amazon or creating the business name, the Amazon and Etsy, I think you mentioned as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good place for people to be able to show their skills, just like you have. And I think it's incredible. You've come such a long way, and just starting out with stickers and being at the younger generation of it to now working with adults and the coloring books. I'll be honest, I had to check out your books on Amazon, and I like the caption on the back of the books that let you know what's in them and to cover. And do you have anything new coming up or coming out at all that we can look forward to?
I am actually working on a new workbook series, just like the
Ooh.
seasonal one where there's four different ones. It's going to be kind of the same thing with a four workbook series, and it's actually going to be based on the elements, so fire, water, air, and earth. The first one that I'm already working on is the earth one, which is all about grounding yourself into the present moment. And that has been something that I have personally been working on. So I figured I'd write a workbook on my, experience and how far I've gone with it. So I'm really excited for that. Coloring books are also going to be coming out, and just new paintings in general. I've been very inspired lately. But yeah, those are probably the main things that I can, talk about without giving out too much information.
I just wanted that little
Yeah.
tidbit so I can have a sneak preview, and that way it's, can kind of get people to know and to look for it ahead of time and stuff. So if I were somebody that, researched your name and put Erin McWalters in a Google search, what would I be looking for to try to get to the books or to your YouTube channel? Do you have like a specific name to it?
Yeah, so for my Amazon workbooks and coloring books, if you literally just go to Amazon and go to the search bar, you literally just type in my name, Erin McWalters, and you will find all of my workbooks and coloring books. There might be a couple other things that pop up that are not under my name, but you'll see the ones that are by Erin McWalters specifically. And then for my Etsy shop, Depop, my YouTube, it's all under StarSketchh. So StarSketch. SKETCHH. There's two H's at the end because unfortunately somebody took the one H, so I had to take the two H's.
Hey, I
But yeah,
kind
that's
of
how you
like
can
that.
find me.
I like the double H's because that's unique and you're a unique person. And I
Exactly.
think I just wanted to say I'm so excited and so happy that I was able to do this podcast with you. I am so fascinated with all that you've accomplished. And I think that it's going to help a wide variety of people with mental health, with the autism spectrum. It's just going to open up so much for a lot of people. And I want to thank you for it. And I can't wait for your new workbook series to come out.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with anybody?
Just to end this off, just stay creative out there. Like, don't stop creating. Just whatever it is that you're passionate about on the creative sense, keep going with it because it's gonna make you happy. And obviously, if you share it online, other people will find it really cool as well. And just remind yourself, just do what makes you happy and stay creative.
Well, thank you very much, Erin. It has been a pleasure. Thank you all for tuning in to the Autism Resource Center's ASD Advantage podcast. This program is funded by the Massachusetts Department of Developmental Services and administered by HMEA. HMEA is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to teach, support, and empower people with developmental disabilities and their families to live meaningful lives of their choice. To learn more, visit autismresourcecenter.org.